Today's video is going to be brought to you by Squarespace. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 80. And today I wanted to shift gears a bit and look at the character Kawaki, in particular the dangerous and slippery slope that he's going to be walking on now that he's made it to the Boruto time skip with both a clear goal to have Boruto hunted down and killed, as well as have gotten the chance to live out part of his desire to be viewed as Naruto's son. Right now, Kawaki is in danger of making a bigger mess for himself than he might have ever expected, because he's got a lot of momentum on his side, and as we've seen before, when the antagonist of the story seems like everything's going right, they typically tend to slip up. So the idea for this topic came from one of you guys over on Twitter, and it was in response to the meme thumbnail that we did a few days ago of Ada kissing Boruto while Kawaki was hugging her and crying, ignorant to the fact that Ada was swapping spit with Boruto behind his back. The suggestion came from a meme of Kawaki being drawn like Hitler, but the more I thought about it, the more I found myself wanting to discuss why Kawaki actually going down the route of darkness is actually a really good idea for this story, especially after a Kawaki fan left a very passionate comment in the comment section on that same video as well. So why do I think that Kawaki should go down the path of choosing violence? Just go all the way violence like Cersei from Game of Thrones. I think it would help further establish the foundation for his eventual redemption in a major way. Just as we need to see Sasuke evolve and fall into the darkness at first unknowingly and then eventually willingly doing so, I think the story needs Kawaki to walk a very similar but different path, which means it's not a beat for beat retelling of the Naruto and Sasuke story with Boruto and Kawaki, because both of them are walking different paths than Naruto and Sasuke walk, but you do have some overlap, and after we get past that overlap, Kawaki actually has quite a bit of room for development that will make his redemption feel extremely earned. Allow me to explain what makes me say that. Kawaki, for all the hate that he has in his heart right now towards Otsutsuki, hatred that is more than warranted when we look at his upbringing, what he doesn't realize right now is that his quest to gain more power to destroy the Otsutsuki, including Boruto, and destroy all those who sympathize with the Otsutsuki, he's slowly becoming more and more like the very Otsutsuki clan that he hates. They seek power for their own reasons, and they don't care who's affected in the process. Kawaki right now hasn't gone as far as to say cultivate a chakra fruit, killing millions in the process, but he has shown that he is more than willing to kill when it comes to his cause. He was fully prepared to kill Sarada when she got between himself and Boruto, and the whole reason that Boruto has that scar on his eye is directly because he was aiming a blow that had killing intent behind it at Sarada, which required Boruto to step in and protect her. It's not as bad as killing millions for the chakra fruit, turning them into white Zetsu in the process, but it is worth noting that this does show he's fallen far enough that he's willing to kill for the sake of his purpose. Kawaki right now currently wouldn't be able to see what's actually happening to him that he's doing to himself, but those around him have seen the changes happening inside of him. Naruto saw it firsthand when Kawaki reawakened the Karma Seal and literally referred to Naruto's own son right in front of him as being a demon, which is all the more heartbreaking when you realize that even after Kawaki killed Boruto, Naruto was still trying to think of Kawaki like family, even when he was holding the cold dead body of his son Boruto. Naruto still wanted to cling to the belief that Kawaki, in spite of what he saw with his own eyes, was still family and still someone who could be redeemed. Hinata saw it next when she looked into Kawaki's eyes when he was sitting at the dinner table and very casually telling Naruto and Hinata that he was going to kill their firstborn son, which is what caused Hinata's mother instincts to come out in high gear like a lioness protecting her cub, because she slapped Kawaki across the face in a fit of emotion. Boruto and Sarada saw the change with Kawaki up close, how this time the fight between Boruto and Kawaki wasn't over a difference of ideals, but rather it was one that would result in one of them dying if Kawaki had his way. Upon casting the Shinjutsu that switched the lives of Boruto and Kawaki, Ada saw firsthand how Kawaki had changed now that he'd gotten what he wanted, how he'd become even more of a coward than she even remembered him being in the past. She saw a side of Kawaki that she never thought thought possible. Everyone has seen the changes going on inside of Kawaki except for himself, and that's part of Kawaki's redemption story. He's going to need to be broken down and dipped into that darkness long enough that he pushes things right up to the edge of people asking, has he done too much to be forgiven? Even with what he's done by sealing Naruto against his will and taking Boruto's life, there's still room to defend the character, with some saying that he wasn't wrong to want to destroy the Otsutsuki, and others saying that he's right for wanting to kill Boruto because of the Momoshiki problem itself. However, now that he's taken the tactics of a coward who isn't above letting others do his dirty work for him, it's setting the stage for Kawaki to take the envelope and push it further, and I think the best decision to do would to have this happen after the time skip, where we get the opportunity to see Kawaki being displayed darker than before and using his newfound status in the village to raise even more eyebrows with readers, because he's a character that allows the story to play with the concept of a morally great character and serve as a direct foil to Boruto, who for the most part of the story has had a strong moral fiber. Even with them cheating in the tuning exams, part of him still knew what he was doing was wrong and that he was cutting corners, which is exactly why he felt shame for his action. Whereas with Kawaki, there was no shame. There is only a tireless journey to achieve the outcome that he's looking for at all costs. Kawaki is viewed by everyone as being the son of the 7th Hokage, yet during this time skip, he isn't someone who's going to care for the way of the shinobi. He isn't someone who cares much for teamwork. He isn't somebody who will be above killing someone while they're out on a mission, and because of the gap in power between himself and the other members of Team 7, there's nobody to stop him if he does go out on a mission and say it's just faster to kill off someone than to take them into custody. He won't show mercy the way that Boruto would. We get to see a darker side to Kawaki when he doesn't get what he wants out of Ada, because she's not going to use her Sharingan to look for Boruto and Sasuke. She said as much, and we have no reason to believe that she's lying when she told this to Boruto, because narratively there is way too much riding on her Sharingan not being used to track them down right now, because it's stacking the deck too high to a point where there's no real way to counter it. Kawaki doesn't care for Ada. Perhaps he'll learn to in time, but I think the strong argument can be made that he views her no different than Sasuke viewed Karin. She is someone who serves a purpose, and as long as she remains useful, he has no problems with her, but the moment she outlives her usefulness or becomes a problem, he won't hesitate to sacrifice her if need be. Since Ada has used shogi terms before to refer to those who protect her as being knights, because in her eyes, she's the king on the board that has to be protected, similar to how people in the real world have main character syndrome, where we all think that we ourselves are the main characters in our own stories, the most important piece on the board, when in reality, for the broader story of mankind that's being told, we may or may not have that same importance. It's the same with characters viewing themselves as the king on their shogi board. In their individual games, they are the most important piece on the board, but on the larger game of life, they might only be a pawn or they might only be a knight. Ada might be forcing Kawaki to do something that is a strategic tactic, which is to sacrifice the queen for a greater strategic advantage or to place the enemy in a more difficult situation. The moment Kawaki sees Ada as actually more useful to Boruto than she is to himself, that might be a play that Kawaki considers, because it would aid in his goal to track down Boruto by forcing him out of hiding. For instance, this could be something that comes to fruition after Kawaki deals with Code. At that point, Ada technically would be more useful to Boruto than himself if she isn't still looking for Boruto, because Boruto hasn't returned to Konoha. This isn't the only thing at play either. Having Kawaki's interactions with Himawari be used as a contrast to Boruto's interactions with Himawari is another way to show the change in his character growing darker. Boruto loved his sister and was extremely caring and overprotective of her, whereas with Kawaki, we've seen that while he does care for her in the anime, in the manga it's more of the vibe that he's merely tolerated her because she's Naruto's daughter. But if we see him acting colder towards her, it's another subtle way to continue building heat for a character by having him be viewed in a light through the interactions he has with others. There are a few different ways for Kawaki to generate real heat that doesn't require him killing, but I do think that eventually that is something that needs to be on the table, because we ended the time skip with Kawaki making it clear now that he's got the karma back, he's willing to kill for his goal of wiping out the Otsutsuki and any Otsutsuki sympathizers, i.e. anyone who helps an Otsutsuki, namely Boruto. But now it's time for him to actually go through with it. Code is someone who we as a fandom pretty much expect to be wiped out at some point in the story, but pulling the trigger on Konoha or someone who Boruto cares about is another another way to push Kawaki into that darkness even further, so that it makes his eventual turn to redemption feel more earned. I don't think Boruto would join the very short list of modern day shonen that kill a morally gray antagonist for the sake of redemption. If even people like Obito and Madara had moments of reflection right before they died, Obito in Kaguya's dimension and Madara just before he died in Naruto volume 72 when he spoke to Hashirama, I think Kawaki stands a good chance of being redeemed in the end, because Boruto forgiving him and relating to him after everything Kawaki's put him through can only be paid off with both of them being alive and building a true brotherhood, and Kawaki having figuratively gotten so much dirt on his hands through his actions, but having those hands washed by a much more mature Boruto is the ideal payoff that is only rivaled by the number of options that you have for building a website on Squarespace. If you've ever thought about creating your own website, Squarespace needs to be the first place that you head to when you decide to get started, because Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform to help you create your own personal website. By using Squarespace to create your own website, you can connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated members only content. You can manage memberships, send email communications, and leverage audience insights all on an easy to use platform. Create a community on your Squarespace website with a fully integrated commenting system that supports threaded comments, replies, and likes. Use their powerful blogging tools to categorize, share, and schedule your posts too. Extend Squarespace already powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. These new third-party tools can help you manage inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items across the globe. You can even display posts on your social media platforms onto your website, automatically push website content to your favorite social media channels so your followers can share it too. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Naruto Explain to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.